absolutely nothing. They've wiped their ass on the flag. They shit on the flag. Okay, I don't know how else to say it more eloquently. But these are the things that are happening in Portland. Portland seems to be a hotbed. Why is that? And why can't the conservatives use the same tactics and protect themselves from what Antifa is doing? Why can't they? Why is there a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. But when you know the lay of the land, when you know the tactical situation, okay, and you have peaceful conservatives in your march, and you have Proud Boys that went there to fight. They went there up armored. They were carrying mace, pepper spray.
I'm sure they did.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, they were armored. And, you know, everybody has a right to self-defense. You know, that fine. But like when you have unsuspecting conservatives marching with you and you know the tactical situation and you're going to march towards a park where you damn well know that Antifa is going to be, and it was more difficult for Portland Police Bureau to deal with it just because of the mark that Joy Joy chose. But yes, I find political violence to be morally and ethically repugnant.
Yes.
I don't believe we should fight with words and not with bats. But I mean, yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree. So here's what I'm going to do is let me tell you the foundation of my argument as follows. Okay. When I say that Antifa should have been removed, okay. Because you and I could get into it and I could say, I'm going to express my opinion. Antifa should have been taken out, but yeah, right. Let's do this. Let's go to, hold on a second. I'm going to go down here. Stand by. Hold on. Give me just a second. I'm going to go to this right here. Chris Ann Hall actually provided me this one sheet about how to deal with protesters and also how to advise police. Okay? And let me cite this. It's called the Heckler's Veto. And you may or may not be able to see this on the screen, but it's blown up on the screen. Okay? The Supreme Court, okay, believes being offensive and politically incorrect is protected by the First Amendment. Okay? A bedrock principle underlying the First Amendment is that government may not prohibit expression of ideas simply because society finds the idea itself offensive or disagreeable. And that's Texas versus Johnson. Hate speech is even protected. Arresting peaceful protesters for disorderly conduct is unconstitutional. Check this out. Arresting peaceful protesters for disobeying an order to leave is unconstitutional, and police must, here's the key element now, and this is where I want our discussion to be. Above and beyond, or protect the protesters over public safety. To let a policeman's command become equivalent to a criminal statute comes dangerously near making our government one of men rather than of laws, okay? Local government must provide police in such numbers as their professional judgment are required to afford adequate protection of who? Of the people that were there for the prayer rally, okay? That a police officer has the duty not to ratify and effectuate a heckler's veto, meaning that they have an obligation to remove Antifa. You're saying that, well, Antifa has that park. They don't own that park. In fact, their presence was going to interfere with the Patriot rally, and the police had an obligation to remove them so as not to silence the voices of the Patriot prayer rally and the march. They had an obligation to remove Antifa, dude. And this is, let me cite it here. It's Glasson versus City of Louisville. It's a Supreme Court ruling, and that's legally and constitutionally correct. That if you understand, that's where my perspective comes from when I say Antifa should have been removed. Okay? Okay. All right. So, do you disagree with that? Because you already admitted that Antifa was there, that, oh my goodness, by doing that. Now, we have documented proof, sir, and you do too. I'm going to play your video, all right? We have documented proof that the route that you're referring to, they proceeded on that route. There was a pre-designated route. Antifa was intervening at that point, interfering with the constitutionally protected, right? The march that was going on. And what they did was they perpetrated violence on that group. Now, here's one final comment, and then I'll throw it back to you. Sir, if I am a peaceful man and I have a bullhorn and a microphone and I go show up and I say, well, Antifa's already said they're going to kick the crap out of us. So I show up with tractor trailers full of freaking angry guerrillas. Are you going to say, well, Pete Santilli doesn't have a right to have a bunch of angry guerrillas around him because he is in fear? As a group, He has a fear of that group being attacked. And we must stand and go on our march and pray and not be attacked violently. And if so, that happens, I will turn those effing gorillas loose on your ass and pounce on you in our defense as a group. Right? Do I have a right to bring angry gorillas with me in tractor trailer loads?
Everyone has a right to self-defense. And what you're getting into now, Pete, and my response to that is I agree with you. It is legally the responsibility of law enforcement to protect the rights of freedom of speech and expression for everyone. And it was their legal obligation to defend the Patriot Prayer and the Proud Boys from marching. But and allow them to march. But here's the thing. The thin blue line, the Blue Lives Matter, that's idea and the meme and the thought form that's so pervasive in law enforcement culture, is a social mandate that cops care more about officer safety than they do about doing their jobs in public safety and the defense of human life. Okay, one officer had a minor boo-boo and he was sent to the hospital. It was a very minor boo-boo, and I know all about it. But anywho, they wanted less lethal munitions, flashbang grenades, distraction devices, pepper balls, and rubber bullets, which they use liberally on both groups because they don't have to get in the way. They don't have to physically go in there and remove the people, because I worked as a bouncer in bars and clubs for years, and the one thing you don't want to do when two people are fighting is to jam yourself in the middle. You approach the most aggressive one from behind and take care of that, and then deal with the less aggressive one, right? And that Portland Police Bureau just used a lot of ordnance that could have killed people on both sides.
They did.
Yep.
And that they care.